What's going on, everyone? It's Greg back with some more MIR4, and today I want to talk about what's going on in the Korean version of the game. If you did not know, there is a Korean version of the game that does not currently have the cryptocurrency associated with it, and the game was out for about a year before it started in global. So there are a lot more established players there, levels are much higher, power is much higher. There's a whole lot going on, and they also have a lot of these updates we're getting already. And so, like, for example, something I'm gonna talk about in this video, class change happened back in, like, I believe May. They got that. So what I want to start doing is trying to analyze some of the stuff on the Korean site, just using basic Google translation, and try to bring you guys some information so you know what to expect in our future updates. Now, before we get into today's video, I just want to thank you guys for all the support. It's been amazing, and I just can't thank you enough for everything, like for the support, for the views, for believing in me and coming and watching my videos. I greatly appreciate it, and my goal is to keep bringing you guys the content. If you are liking the content, please hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, I don't know what you're doing. Like this so far, like there's like only like 10% of you guys are subscribed. If you're watching my video and you're not subscribed, just hit that subscribe button. It'll help me out so much, and turn those notifications on so you can know when I'm posting new videos or when I'm going live. If you didn't know, I do go live. And we also have memberships on the channel. We got a join button now. I have some emojis in there. We're gonna have exclusive content on the Discord, stuff that are like super secret tips and tricks that I'm just going to share with the members, at least for initially. Might come out on the channel later on, but all that is going to be coming. And so that's an option for you guys to support. You need to watch out for the live streams. I'm gonna try to come up with a consistent schedule. We'll see how that goes. Other than that, just guys, thank you again. And I'm sorry if I'm ranting on too much about this, but it's just been amazing. The growth has been tremendous, and I just thank you guys. Thank you so much. So let's get into today's video. For today, I want to talk about this Sarmati's letter, which is something that came out in the Korean version today. It's just kind of like an overall discussion, and I want to talk about what they talk about in here and how it might affect us in the future. Then I'm going to talk about the class change and how that works and what we should expect. So before I get into all this, I just want to add a little disclaimer and say, look, I'm translating this stuff from Korean, and at the end of the day, they can make changes in the global features. So please keep those things in mind. I'm simply analyzing what's out there in Korea, and so far we're getting a lot of those features. So it's a reasonable assumption that we will get something at least very, very similar to what they have for these different features. So let's start with the news. They had put out this Sarmati's letter today, with the day I'm recording this, and we're talking about this is like a letter from the developers, GMs, to the players. So they talk about how it's been 1 year since the game started on November 25th of last year. So it's been a little less than a year. And they're thanking everyone who's playing the game, thanking all the players. Now, this is the cool part. They talk about the recent success of MIR4 Global. That's what we're playing, MIR4 Global. This is to the players on MIR4 Korea. They're saying that it's a huge hit worldwide, which obvious. Like, they're getting so many players, and it's obvious they didn't plan on having this kind of response. They are struggling with support and things like that, and we got to give them some. We got to be patient, let them work those things out. So that's what I'm trying to do, and that's what you guys are trying to do. So it says the management is well aware of that. This is all thanks to the folks that are playing the Korean version up for that year before it came out in global, and that they were letting them know that they're not going to neglect the development operation of the service. When it comes to the Korean MIR4, they're not going to put that ahead of. They're not going to put. I believe what they're trying to say is they're not putting the global MIR4 ahead of Korean MIR4. They're saying that the importance, they're both important. So that I think that's good. They're trying to reassure the players of the Korean version, which it should be good. They should be doing good things for the Korean players, because we're getting what they're getting. So it should be like kind of like a stepping process. They get it, then we get it. So hopefully maybe eventually we're in sync. Who knows? So next up, they talk about changing the update cycle in Korea. We've been getting bi-weekly updates on global, and it looks like that's what they're changing to on Korean. They're going to go from weekly to bi-weekly, And so they're worried, a lot of people are worried about the interest in the Korean service has decreased, that developers are not as serious. But they're in here, they're just reassuring the players that they do care a lot about the game, and that this is just for the better. I can understand people getting concerned when you go from a weekly update to a bi-weekly update. But the developers, they need stuff that's manageable. They need it manageable because now they have the global version, and it's just a lot more going on. Now, number 3, this is an important thing. So Korean version does not currently have blockchain, does not currently have Draco or anything like that. So they talk about how MIR4 Global serves as a blockchain-based game, and by smelting J-code, the utility token on top of the Remix network, a new in-game economic system is built based on this, and various items and characters are tokenized. It's designed so that warriors can freely exchange, collect, and trade. I think that this economic system was able to get a response from the warriors around the world thanks to the solid black iron economic system that the Korean warriors started and refined together. So apparently, they really kind of toyed around with this whole economic system revolving around the dark steel, the black iron. So it says, therefore, we also want to provide the content to Korean warriors, but it is not possible due to various circumstances. The management team promises to provide Korean soldiers as soon as relevant laws and regulations are prepared and allowed to introduce blockchain service to MIR4 Korean service. So they want to bring the blockchain to Korea, they just can't do it right now. So this is actually kind of big news in my opinion, because if they eventually can bring the blockchain piece to the Korean version, if it's on the same system, like same Draco and everything, then this just brings in a whole nother audience, a whole nother set of buyers and things like that, and sellers of the NFTs and blockchain items. So I think this is all good news. It would mean that Draco would be even more valuable. Again, I have no idea if it means they're going to be on the same system. I don't know if it means they're going to be on a separate system. We don't know anything about what this means, but I think it's a cool idea that they're trying to bring it, and that they're just trying to wait for the laws to be in place. Then they talked about their festival anniversary. The reason why I feel like this is good is it just shows that what we can expect. We can expect something to happen when we hit an anniversary. And this is another important note that I noticed that kind of helps me answer one question I had, which came with the server transfer that's going to be coming up. I'm like, well, what happens when a new server comes out? How do you stop people from just piling onto that server? Well, like if you can see here that they are opening a new server, and they're going to provide experience bonuses and growth rewards for rapid growth of warriors for safe growth. The server, and for it to be safe, the server is kept in a protected state that restricts the passage of the flag. So what they're saying is you can't transfer a character to this server for the first 90 days of the server. So that's kind of helpful to know, give us an idea of what to expect when we get the server transfer coming. Number 6, they have first anniversary major content update. So you can see for their first anniversary, they're getting the 8th floor of Magic Square, and I'm guessing this is Secret Peak, and that black iron from the, I'm guessing this might be actually a new war area or a new valley, because it's talking about the territory warehouse. Black iron from the territory warehouse be able to pay to individuals. This is interesting because this means that we actually got this feature first. So it does show that they're putting some effort into both. They're listening to the players on global as well as the players on Korean, and that I believe that this was maybe a more important thing on global because of the whole blockchain piece aspect to it, and that's probably why they brought it to us first. But it just goes to show that they will prioritize things if it's needed. So I like that. December 9th, new area is going to open, maximum level expanded to 170. So this is they're adding inner forest constitution. So basically they're increasing the level cap, increasing all the caps. Of course we're nowhere near that yet, but we know what to expect. They're going to keep expanding the game. Talking about adding new equipment jewelry, so new equipment jewelry that can be equipped with up to 6 characters, divided into general jewelry that increase stats and special jewelry that activates abilities when conditions are satisfied. No idea what this is talking about, but something coming on December 9th for Korean, and we can expect that to be on our servers in the future. And now we have number 7, the future of MIR4, to start a new year world contents. In the meantime, MIR4 has been updated with many updates to expand the battlefield according to the growth of the warriors, such as inter-server patrol pass, trans-server content such as expedition. Therefore, we're preparing world contents as expansion contents of the new world. Remember, guys, this is all translated, so some of this is going to make sense. As for the world contents, the world appears as a stage, not according to the activity and combination of existing server unit. As a result, 4 servers gather to compete and cooperate in a new area, Magic Square. Oh, okay. So it seems like, you know, they're gonna start bringing in more like inter-server things, which I think is pretty cool. And then it says, furthermore, siege battle is scheduled, and with the non-heavenly king of each server competes over a Sabuka fortress to dominate the world. So maybe this is going to be a fortress that, you know, is shared amongst 4 servers. I think it's really cool that they built the game in a way that servers can interact with each other. I really like that. In addition, in order to motivate the warriors of Black Dragon who are awakening after breaking the lost okay, I'm guessing it's like if players come back after I don't know, after not playing for a while, it's kind of what it seems like. I'm not sure. Or just talking about the monsters. Hard to know with the translation there, but it says something about looting of other servers is allowed. As all of the contents are pioneering and challenging updates from MIR4, we're doing our best to develop them. We'll introduce them to heroes in sequence as soon as they are ready. So that's just stuff they're working on. So they're working on all this stuff. So they're expanding the Korean version. We had the global version. We're going to be getting probably most of the stuff the Korean has. All exciting stuff. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. You know, hopefully maybe it adds a little bit of excitement in terms of what to look forward to for the game. It certainly did for me. So now let me transition into what was one of the main topics of this video, which is the class change. I want to talk to you guys about what the class change is, how it should work, and what to expect. So I got this other page open here, which is, you know, translated to phase shift. They talk about phases and things like that. I don't know what the exact translation is going to be when they decide to give us all the information, but it kind of makes sense to call it like a phase shift because it's not actually changing your character. So here's the key points you need to know. I guess we'll just talk about it as we go through it. So we're going to go through this and talk about what this phase shift is and how it would work in our version, which I mean it should be the same as the Korean version, but you know, basically what my understanding is and kind of what I'm thinking for me, because I did tell you guys I am going to go Arbalist. I still have that planned, but it's going to probably be a little bit different than I thought it was going to be, because you don't get to keep your gear and stuff. Well, let's just go through this and talk about it. Okay, so phase shift. Phase shift condition available from character level 50 or higher. You must not be a member of a party, so you got to be out of a party. You got to be standing in like it says you must be located in the abyss. I don't know what the abyss is. Not sure what that translation for, but basically you need these set of conditions before you do this, so you're completely safe. And for your first phase shift, it's going to be 1,000 copper. Your second phase shift, now this is Korean currency. We don't know what this actually maps to in ours, but on their server it's 4,000 gold, 8,000 gold, 12,000 gold for the different phase shifts. Now you may be like, well, what does it mean for this many? It's not the back and forth thing. What this is actually this is how many classes there are once the Arbalists come out. There's 5 classes total. So what this is saying is you could actually, your one character can be all 5 classes at the same time. So follow along with me so you get what I'm saying. So after creating the phase character, it's free of charge to change the occupation of the phase character to the true character. So when you go back and forth between the different characters. Once basically you're buying that one character, and then you can switch it back and forth. Your true character they're describing in here is your currently selected character, and your phase character is the character you're going to be converted to by the phase shift. So there's going to be a new screen to do this, and it says you can play as a different character. So number one, it's just telling you, you can pick which character, give you some skill information. So phase shift sharing, what carries over? almost everything carries over except for your equipment, specifically your armor and your weapon. And then the next big thing is your skills. So you're not carrying over any skills, but your skills stay on your original character. And like I said, you can switch back and forth for free. So I'm currently a Lancer. I want to have a Arbalist. So when the Arbalist comes out, I can, and this phase shift / character change, whatever comes out, I can go ahead and pay the 1,000 copper, and I can phase shift into a Arbalist. But I'm gonna have no gear, and my skills are all gonna be right back at level 0. So it's gonna be a lot of work to power up that other phase, so to speak. But to me, I feel like it's gonna be worth it. I think it's gonna be good for the channel as well. You know, I can kind of take you guys on the journey of what it's gonna take to do that, versus, let's say, if you were to start a new character. For me, the benefits of it is I'm gonna have all my spirits, I'm gonna have all my magic stones and things like that. And I do feel like an Arbalist build is going to be somewhat similar to a Lancer build, from the fact that, you know, I'm going to focus on a lot of the things I focus on are really for most characters, but I focus on, like, you know, my bash damage, some crit damage and things like that. And I believe all that's going to do well on an Arbalist, which is kind of why I was thinking about changing. The only thing is you don't get your gear. What happens is your gear gets locked to your original character or whatever different phase you have. So your gear, when you switch, is like removed from you, but it's still in your bags, and you put it in your warehouse, and then when you switch back, you put it back on your, like in my case, my Lancer. So what does that mean? It means I'm already mentally preparing for what I'm gonna have to do when Arbalist comes out. So which means I'm gonna be saving materials, I'm gonna be saving you know, my crafting stuff for rare equipment, and it means I'm gonna slow down a little bit on the codex with the rare gear, because I'm like, okay, I can only do that with drops because I need to save my materials so I can craft all my gear when I get my Arbalist. I want to be able to go for tier 4 weapon and armor when the Arbalist comes out, and then I also want to stack up around 140 or so skill books, the uncommon skill books, so that I can get my skills up to tier 4 right away. The hard part is going to be getting the skills up to tier 5 and above. But what I'm hoping on is, or hoping for, is that as we're advancing more in the game, that there'll be more ways that come to light of ways to get those skill books, and it'll be a little bit easier to do on my Arbalist once it comes out. But even if I don't have those, I still think an Arbalist in my case probably is going to be better for, you know, AFK XPing, because I'm fighting mobs that are generally lower than me, and the Arbalist is going to be able to pull them more like a sorcerer, which a sorcerer right now is by far the best character for AFK experience. So, you know, I think I can get some benefits out of that, and then I can switch back and forth to my Lancer, like when I do need the power, because my Arbalist might not necessarily have that power at the time. So that is how that is going to work. You will not keep you keep your equipment, but it cannot go on your new character. It's not getting changed. So essentially, you're going to end up with 2 sets of equipment. Now, I know this might sound overwhelming, but for me, it's more like I'm going to slow down on my Lancer equipment. I'm not going to go, you know, deep into it. You know, if I get a epic drop before, you know, this comes out, then fine. But I'm not gonna craft an epic. Not that I really plan to craft one anyway, but I don't have plans to craft an epic, and I probably wouldn't craft the epic until the Arbalist comes out anyway, because, you know, it's more like my Lancer is going to kind of keep the gear it currently has, and I want to gradually switch over to the Arbalist. So, but in the meantime, I will be switching back and forth, because my Lancer is going to be more capable of doing things until I get my Arbalist, you know, some of those skill books, and get the gear up to par. So everything else, all of your, you know, your attempts to the portals, your raid attempts, all that stuff is shared. If you use 2 raids on the one, when you phase shift into the other, you're not going to get those 2 raids back. You know, so you can do this on a daily basis, but, you know, basically everything on the account itself stays the same, and really everything on that main character stays the same. Missions, quests, all that stuff is based on your main character, and it's shared across the way. So that is the information I have for class change. I hope that really helps you guys understand like what to expect and how to prepare yourself when this does come out. Now, like I said earlier, we don't know if it's going to be any different when it comes out on global. We don't know what might change, but I feel like if this is what's out in Korea, it's most likely going to be very, very similar when it comes out on global. So keep that in mind. My questions I still have is like, what does this mean for NFT? If my character goes into an NFT, does that person get both, does that person get the phase information in the NFT? Or is it whichever one I lock at the time? If I lock it in on the Arbalist, is that's what it ends up being as, and the other one is lost in transition. But we still don't know if you get, what you keep in terms of the bag, anything like that. So that's down the line. It's December. We'll find out more about NFTs. I'm very excited for the Draco staking program that's coming up, which should be in a couple weeks. Other than that, I was very, excited to find this information, and I do plan to bring you guys more of the information coming from Korea. I know this has been a long video, so I do apologize for that, but it was a lot of information to bring. I didn't really want to do 2 separate videos, so hopefully you use the timestamps if you just were here for the class change. But this other information to me was exciting as well. So hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions, let me know down in the comments. I might have missed something. I can answer any questions to the best of my ability. Again, this is translated stuff. I don't have 100% definitive answers. We don't know what might change in global, so keep that in mind, but I will do my best to answer. If you like this video, hit that like button. If you're not subscribed yet, please subscribe, turn those notifications on, and I will catch you guys in the next one.